Alright, welcome back. So this one here is I have another Echo Curb Find weed whacker. This one came in a lot, as you guys might have watched a couple days ago with the previous Echo. This one also has issues. This is the way I found it. It's SRM-26, I believe 20. This is the X line. So I've never honestly worked on X line. It is missing some parts, as you can see. It's missing their cover. I believe there's a black cover here, a bigger filter, and it's a black cover. I've never really worked on one of these, and then the bolt's obviously holding it all together here. And on this side, it looks like it's just missing the black cover over the muffler. So it's just the cover, but yeah. So it looks like that's missing. What currently I see on it, I mean, everything else is there. It's also missing its head as well. So on this one, it's also missing the head and the little lock portion of it, but we'll see what happens with this one. This one's a little bit more complete, I would say. It actually has the bottom piece, and the plastic doesn't look too horribly destroyed. This one does have a lot of dirt on it. And yeah, so what I wanted to do in this video is check out this one here and see first if it has good compression before doing anything. Running it with the Mighty Vac compression tester, like I did in the previous episode, or the previous video on the other part. I did get parts ordered for it. I'm just honestly waiting for them. If this one is something that runs, I may consider salvaging it. I know that these parts are necessarily aftermarket. It wouldn't be that much more if it is something that runs. Looking at the fuel lines, it looks like they're relatively newer. Yeah, they're still squishy, so they don't seem hard. And like I said, I don't know why this one was tossed. Other than when it was tossed, it looks like parts were taken off of it. And actually, this one has a smaller spark plug than the other one, so I'm wondering if a 5/8 will take it off. And actually, looking at it, the 5/8 does help take it off, and it looks like the spark plug is a little loose. So it looks like somebody was possibly fiddling with it. That is a little tiny NGK spark plug. This one doesn't look too horrible, but a little bit of carbon. Sorry, a little bit of carbon there build up. As you can tell, I may just want to run some sandpaper on it, but what I want to do first is check compression on it. So this one, I may need a smaller adapter because I don't think this one will work. Yeah, this one is too big actually, the middle one. I want to see if I have something a little smaller that will mount to these actual adapters. Okay, so I'll use the center one. I wonder if this adapter piece to the actual center one will work, because it's a small little spark plug hole. And honestly, this one looks to be a little bit too big, surprisingly. So let me just try the other one. There's one more adapter. And this one says it's an M10 size. So I'm wondering if the M10 size will fit this. Well, we'll just crush it. And this one seems to fit. Now I'm hoping it doesn't lose too much compression between the little crush gasket or crush. It's not really a washer. It's more or less rubber. But what we'll do here is we'll try it out. I'll try to do a compression test on it first before doing anything with it, just to see what we're looking at. So I'll just make sure it's tightened. Shouldn't be losing much pressure if anything, so we'll see if it runs. Or I'm sorry, if it has good compression. So it is zeroed out on the Mighty Vac compression tester. So what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and give it a few pulls. See where we're at. So it looks like I'm at about 100 pounds exactly, maybe a hair over. So it is a little worn. That doesn't deter me though. I'll try it one more time. I'll tighten everything up again. Now it is, obviously an adapter with the actual crush washer itself. So that could have a little bit of a function. Maybe it is escaping somewhere, but everything looks to be locked on it. So we'll try that again. just to make sure here. Yeah, I gave that a few more pulls, and it's a little over 100, so it is getting 100 psi. So anything over 90 is good, but a little over 100, give or take, even if it's losing a little bit of pressure from either the back end or from the actual adapter portion of it. It should have enough compression to run, at least cough and run, if anything. So hopefully this is the correct spark plug. Hopefully everything is correct on it. What I'll do next here, let me just remove that compression tester there, is the spark plug here. I'm just gonna lightly sand it down just to clean it up a little bit, just to make sure it's a little bit cleaner. Same thing. What I'll do is I'll run a little bit of sandpaper through it, just to get some of the corrosion off. Where you can see, I just run like a fine grit. And then what I'll do is I'll spray it. You can also obviously do it many ways. You could run a wire brush through this, probably is a better way. I'm just kind of wanting to just quickly see if I can figure out what's wrong with it or why it was tossed. Looks like a fairly good machine. I mean, it looks pretty stout. I've never really worked on one of these. I've seen these at the store, but I really don't. I've had my Echo for such a long time that I've really not really paid attention to much. But let's see if this one will run. And like I said, this is like a quick type of, for me, a quick type of service on a spark plug. If you don't have anything, grab some sandpaper, sand it down, and just clean it off. And what I'll do is I'll spray it outside really quick. So I just sanded it down, I sprayed it with some Carb Clean just to get rid of any type of fine sandpaper material or grit. And it's looking a little bit cleaner. Is it perfectly clean? Probably not. But for testing purposes, I think it'll be perfect for it. What we'll do next is we'll go ahead and tighten it down. I'm glad at least the person that tossed this, even though they took the covers off, they at least left the plug on it so I could at least see if it runs. And they didn't take any of the other materials or other parts like the carb. What we'll do is we'll tighten it. Feel like it's not going in all the way. Okay. I was close. I was wondering why I was taking. There it goes. Just give it a little turn. We'll put the cap back on. We'll make sure it's on here. And then what I'll do here is, I don't think there's any fuel in this one. There was some fuel in the other ones, but the cap, obviously it's missing right here. There's no fuel in this one, so what I'll do is I'll grab a little two-stroke. We'll put some in there to see if it'll start and run. Of course, like all Echoes, it is a 50-to-1 mix. So I'll just put a little bit of fuel. I'll see if the pickup works for it. Shake up my 50-to-1 mix. I actually bought this the other day, so it's pretty fresh. I'm running Red Armor on, I believe it's 91 octane or 92. I was running V-Power just because I like to run a little higher octane for the string trimmers. They recommend 89 and above. So for as often as I buy gas for the smaller stuff, I usually just run premium. So you could always run non-ethanol. Obviously is the best choice, but I don't have non-ethanol here where I live, so I don't want to buy the canned stuff. I'd rather mix it myself. So yeah, we'll fire it up. We'll see if it's priming. All right, it is getting the prime. It is priming. Carb's priming. All right, do one more. So it's about partially full, 3/4. So same way, choke is up. And then you have your switch over here to on. And then we'll see if this thing will cough and run. So it's on choke. Let's see if it fires up. Okay? Sound like it, see a little bit of smoke, so it looks like it did cough over. We'll see if it starts and runs now. Ooh, okay. Let's give it a little throttle. Let me try choking it again. Okay, let's try it open now. Sounds like it might start and run. Well, let's try it again. I have it off choke, but I'm going to have the throttle ready just to pull it. It's definitely... Let's give it another choke here. Okay. Now let's see if we can keep it running. Try that one more time. I'm just looking at the side here. I do smell fuel. Seems like it starts and coughs. What I want to do is just give it a little shot of starting fluid. Let's give it a little shot of starting fluid just for the fun of it. Okay. Let's try that out now. On. Let's see if it'll fire up and run. Oh, you know what? The cap was a little loose there. Let's try doing it on choke. It's interesting. Okay. Let's try that again on choke. I give it a few primes just to try it out. And what we'll do is we'll give it some air. Last attempt here is I will try just some more carb clean. Mind you, this won't hurt it at all. It is on, just making sure. And what we'll do is we'll put it here, give it a few more pulls, and I'll call it that. Alright, so it is giving me a little bit of a trouble starting. What I wanted to do is I'll pull some fuel, and we'll see if we can put it directly into the cylinder to see if it'll start and at least run for like a second. It did start up for a second, but it wasn't very promising. Let's see if I can find my little syringe here. I have this like little tiny syringe that I use just for fuel sometimes where I pull it out. I can give it a little quick shot. And like I said, it did cough a few times, but not very consistent, so it kind of got me worried there. Looks like fuel is getting to the carb. So, you know, the primer is priming. Unless there might be a problem with the carb. But we'll see. This will be the ultimate test. If I put it directly into the cylinder. The plug is a little wet, so that could also be a factor too. I'll just blow it off. What we'll do is we'll let it dry just for a second here. I'll pull some fuel. Good quick test. Just give it a little bit. I'll give it a shot. Also a good indication if there's any issues with the cylinder. Directly inside, a little shot. And then we'll thread that in. And honestly, nothing wrong with if I did have one out of the three not work. Because even though this doesn't work, there's a lot of good parts I can get off of this. Recoil, gas tank if I needed it. Lines if they're in somewhat decent condition, which they look to be fine. Okay. Give it there. Put the coil plug back on. Push it in really good. Alright, have it on. Let's fire it over. Give it a little choke. And let's see the last time here. Okay. Let's go to run. Give it a little air maybe. And like you heard, it just ran there for a second and died. You could smell the fuel. So, could be carb. I don't think it's necessarily carb though. The plug is pretty wet though. It could be carb. It could be the plug, which is another possibility. Look at that though. Looks like it finally caught. See if the head rotates. I didn't think it was going to start after all the pull. Looks like it's holding. It is idling. Sounds strong now. See if it shuts off. I'll shut it off now. See if it fires right up on restart. Might have been sitting up just so long, or he was tweaking with it maybe. But I'm also thinking it might be something with that part of the muffler. I wonder if it's been cleaned, or it needs cleaning too. Let me try that one more time. See if it'll fire up. Oh yeah. So, took a few pulls, took a little bit to start. It's pulling fuel. It seems to run fine once it got going there. I think the reason it was tossed was, one, that he probably couldn't get it started, or it sat, and that he just got frustrated with it, trying to pull it and pull it and pull it, and it just didn't want to start for him. It's my assumption too. But also, it could be an issue with the plug itself. The plug is a little bit obviously worn at the electrode, but it does fire, it does run. It just took a bunch of pulls, as you can see in this video. So patience is always key with these smaller two-stroke engines. Sometimes they don't want to fire up the first time, sometimes they do. I know in the previous video you saw with the other Echo trimmer, it actually fired up on first pull after cleaning the plug. So, and it ran, and it seemed to run and stay steady. This one was a little bit more finicky. So could that be an issue with compression? It could be. I'm not saying it's not. Could have a lower compression than what I'm getting. Did that actual little bit of fuel inside the cylinder help bump up compression where it ran better? Could it be another case? Could he have had bad fuel in it at one point, and maybe that was still stuck in the carb as I put the fresh fuel in there? That could be another issue. You know, with Echo Red Armor, it finally started pulling it. It seemed to run. It was starting to run really good. There was some smoke coming out of it when initially starting in. I know it was a little bit of a pain to get it going, but yeah, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of ifs and ands. So the best thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit for a few days. I'll price out parts, but I'm going to let it sit for a few days just because I don't necessarily think, well, just to make sure, but if it fires up and runs, I may look into getting the actual parts it needs. But yeah, I'll let it sit for a few days, and then I'll come back to it. I'll just see if I could just give it a quick fire to see if it fires up in a few days after sitting for a while. So now that it's warmed up, it'll fire up now fine. But yeah, hope you guys like the content. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Tell me about all your journeys currently in fixing things. I know on this one here, this one was a little bit of a pain, being the SRM-2620 from Echo. And yeah, hopefully I can see, hopefully it fires up in a few days. And if it fires up in a few days, I think this one will be another good candidate to fix, and then we can actually test it to make sure it's good. But yeah, nothing too hard. It's just patience. These Echo units, I mean, even with abuse, as long as they have some type of compression on them and they're good, they're over, I'd say at least over 100. I know this is like borderline, so this is like kind of the borderline of, do you want to repair it or do you not want to repair it? So yeah, it looks like it'll run, it'll operate, but I'm going to let it sit, and then we'll finalize it, and then I'll decide then. But thanks for checking this out. I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys out on the next one. Take it easy.